Hello there, Joshua Clemens here. This will be a short one. I just want to talk about something I came across, and it's been kind of stirring in my mind. One of my two of my passions that come together oftentimes. One of them is Thomas Aquinas, and the other one is Catholic social teaching. And both of them came across me across the day. I was reading this little popular text, popular being just kind of for the people, called De Divinis Moribus, the Ways of God, um, allegedly by Thomas Aquinas. And so there he says about God, he says, whatever he ordains among his creatures, fair weather or tempests, famine or abundance, health or epidemics, all that he does for men, that he confers, that he retires his grace, that he makes them vigorous or weak, poor or rich, that he makes them to live or die, that he permits the good or the bad to reign, to succor or to afflict the poor, to judge with equity or to offend justice. He does all, he orders all, he permits all because of his infinite goodness and in view of the common good of men. And that last bit, he says basically everything that happens, whether it's God allowing it or doing it, whether it seems to be evil or good, ultimately it's all in God's plans, and it's ordained or it's ordered to the common good of man. And we know this anyway from elsewhere in Thomas Aquinas, but this one struck me because he even lists epidemic in there. But somehow, from a God's eye perspective, it's for the common good of man. And so where this comes together with social teaching for me is this these quotes from John Paul II. They're pulled together in the Compendium of the Social Doctrine of the Church under solidarity, and he defines solidarity as a social virtue. There's kind of a de facto solidarity where we're interrelated or that we're all the same species, but then there's another one where it involves our will. It involves our choice to solidarity. And I think this one applies to God as well, and I just hadn't ever read it together thinking of God. I was thinking about us and our solidarity with one another, but what about God's solidarity with us? And here's the quote. He says, solidarity as an authentic moral virtue is not a feeling of vague compassion or shallow distress, the misfortunes of so many people, both near and far. On the contrary, it is a firm and persevering determination to commit oneself to the common good. That is to say, to the good of all and of each individual, because we are all really responsible for all. So it's not simply the common good is, the one gets lost in the many. It's each individual and everyone. Benedict XVI brings this up too, and he talks about integral human development. It's that it's all and everyone is included. Solidarity rises to the rank of fundamental social virtue, since it places itself in the sphere of justice. It is a virtue directed par excellence to the common good, and it is found in a commitment to the good of one's neighbor with the readiness in the gospel sense to lose oneself for the sake of the other instead of exploiting him, and to serve him instead of oppressing him for one's own advantage. So, if we think in those terms, to seek first the glory of God is not to seek something that excludes anyone, that really God has in mind the good of all, that he himself is that good that he desires for all. St. Catherine of Siena, in her dialogue and speaking with God, God the Father tells her that all the saints in heaven, all the blessed, the good that they partake in heaven is the good of all. There isn't anything that's lost in the sharing, and it's all shared. So your good is my good is your good, and all of it is held in God, and he's all in all. And so as we look to everything that's happening, there's a call to trust in God's goodness and his solidarity and his control over all things, that all things are ordered to the ultimate common good of us all, that all things work for good for those who love him.